Hello and welcome back to my small part of the universe. My name is Hailstone. Today we will be looking at a small creature that may have one too many tendrils for its own good, and one that injects a rather vile poison. So please, if you will, sit back, relax, and let us begin. Local name, Cnidae. Sonar signature, about double the size of a crawler. Zone of sighting, the European Ridge and deeper waters. Length of the creature. From head to tail, the Cnidae seems to be a range of roughly 20 to 30 feet in length, though its tendrils are far longer, spanning more than 60 feet in length. Pack tactics. The Cnidae is often found alone. Dietary preference. It is at least known to be a carnivore. Biology of the Cnidae. The Cnidae is quite a fascinating subject, especially when compared with other European fauna in just terms of anatomy alone, with the closest fauna that even comes close to invoking its image would be some strange cross between Orange Boy and a Moloch. Describing the main body alone and starting at the head of the creature, the Cnidae, it's primarily dominated by slightly light, tannish flesh and 8 plates that make up a segmented shell that crawls down the back of the creature. On its face, so to speak, the Cnidae has 6 near pitch black eyes with one set of 3 present on each side of the creature's head. What stands out about these eyes is each one seems to have a near white glowing center, giving off the illusion of a simple eye type, much like that of a human or even a crawler, though I am unable to discern how they truly function, if at all. On the lower part of the head, the Cnidae has a set of 3 proboscis that the Cnidae will often use to retaliate in sensing a threat, though they are also used in a far more predatory manner, in which when near a submarine, the Cnidae will pierce the hull and eject a gaseous cloud of green-laden gas that will quickly and efficiently suck the oxygen out of a given area, though more on that later. Concerning the continued back of the creature, at the joint that connects the upper shelled body and the lower fleshy sac, sprouts an array of tendrils of about 8 to 7 of them in total, with each one being pitch black in coloration, with a hard green tip that glows via some form of bioluminescent reaction deeper in the creature. I am unsure of how the Cnidae makes use of these tendrils, as I do not know if the creature has any real form of motor control in these limbs, and they may act something similar to perhaps a chemical detection system, or even simply just a lure to draw in small prey hoping for an easy meal, and instead become one themselves, though I truly do not know which. The lower body of the Cnidae is rather interesting, as the entirety of it seems to be little more than an engorged fleshy sac. Upon first glance, though, there is something far more fascinating going on here than simply just housing the creature's innards and stomach. The lower region of the Cnidae is one that is dominated by thin strips of flesh that seem to be struggling to hold on to a vast sack of green bulbous eggs, or at least something of a similar description, though I do not believe these to be any form of actual offspring of the creature waiting to hatch. Whatever these green glowing sacs hold, it has something to do with perhaps the most potent feature of the Cnidae. For you see, in addition to the oxygen-sucking gas that the Cnidae can excrete, it also has a rather volatile poison that it employs, that being sufferin, typically inflicting it with one of its proboscis. The Cnidae isn't immune to its own poison natively and can easily kill itself with it. And I believe to work around this, the lower flesh sac of the Cnidae is used to store these harsh chemicals, as to not harm the rest of its body. But merely storing sufferin is incredible, as while I will admit, I am unsure how the Cnidae manages to produce its own sufferin or even manage to offset the damage that such a process can do. I can barely understand how most medics would even be able to make sufferin via any stable process, as powdered potassium as sulfuric acid alone in a mixture, as far as I understand, should produce a rather extreme exothermic reaction, though perhaps whatever the gas it emits is somehow assists in this process, somehow stabilizing it, though ultimately I am no chemist, and honestly it is one of my worst subjects. Even had to drop out of it. Behavior of the Cnidae. It is strange that this rather large and fragile creature seems interested in human submarines, to the point that it tries to prey upon them, yet honestly gets nothing out of it, aside from maybe a few dead assistants on the crew's angle. I think perhaps that we can extrapolate quite a lot about the Cnidae's potential habits based on this alone. I currently believe the Cnidae spends long portions of its life simply drifting around in the European currents. That is, until it sees its next possible prey, and in this scenario, it will be a Moloch, Taking advantage of the creature's blindness, the Cnidae will lightly bind itself to the larger creature, gripping wherever its tendrils can. Then, before the Moloch can react, the Cnidae floods the Moloch's systems with its green gas, not only causing various bloat and ruptures within the Moloch, but siphoning the oxygen directly out of the Moloch's blood. This not only causes the Moloch to die quickly of a type of asphyxiation, but I believe that the chemicals in this gaseous mixture, along with the sufferin, quicken the necrosis of the Moloch's flesh, causing gas pockets to develop within the Moloch and causes it to drift upward towards the ceiling of a given tunnel. Once there, the Cnidae begins to construct a nest from the Moloch's corpse, using nearby slime molds to stick it in place. And once that is done, I believe it may even hollow it out in order to lay its eggs inside. Though at the end of the day, most if not all of this is merely guesswork based on one possible behavior. Final thoughts on the Cnidae. The Cnidae is a fascinating creature that I wish I could research further, though there is only so much that I can try to figure from a creature's habits and biology. Though in addition to this, I have heard rumor and tale of a much larger Cnidae, one that looks significantly different, but I have never come across one in my travels. But hopefully one day I can visit the topic of this Cnidae Prime.